have a message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland. We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it really for international world security. And I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it. We will keep you safe. We will make you rich, and together we will take Greenland to heights like you have never thought possible before. It's a very small population, but very, very large piece of land and very, very important for military security.
So there you go, promising a lot of things, which, if I was Greenland, I wouldn't trust it a lot because track record is not very good. If you think of, Trump's first term, he promised he was going to replace Obamacare. That never happened. He said he was going to be the jobs president. That didn't happen either. He ended up leaving the White House in 2021. Actually, he ended up being almost taken out of the White House because he didn't want to leave. We know what happened there too. He said, obviously, he was going to create, a bunch of jobs. It never happened. He lost manufacturing jobs. He left the White House losing 3 million jobs, like almost 3 million, like 2.7, 2.8, which is the worst record since Hoover, which is a lot to say. And, he said he was going to deal with infrastructure. That never happened. He said he was going to fix the border, which he could have done because he had full control of government, at least in 2017. He didn't do anything. That first year, he didn't do anything to fix the border. He said he was going to deal with crime. Crime actually went up. He said he was going to fix everything, and it didn't happen. He ended up the only thing he accomplished was giving a big tax cut to the wealthy, to the rich, and very little, if anything, to the middle class, to the working class, and to the, financially challenged. But anyway, you heard it. He doesn't care that Greenland has repeatedly said that they are not for sale and that it's up to the people of Greenland to determine its future. So now Trump has stopped sending military aid to Ukraine based on the excuse that Zelensky does not want peace, supposedly, which is a laughable excuse considering that Zelensky did not pick a fight or invade Russia, right? He didn't pick a fight with Putin himself, or he didn't invade Russia. Russia invaded Ukraine, which is something that even Mike Pence and a bunch of other people, Republicans, are telling Trump, hey, we know who the aggressor is here, right? But anyway, we know he didn't pick a fight with Russia. It was the other way around, but that's what Trump said, that Zelensky apparently doesn't want peace, right? After he insulted Zelensky in the Oval Office, he stopped now sending military aid. He stopped it. I'm not sure if it's going to be a permanent thing or what, but that's what he did. So now listen to Christie, who was highly critical of this meeting in the Oval Office, and he criticized Trump, and he was saying that Trump looks more like a Putin ally at this point. So let's play the clip, and we'll be right back.
What we need to understand is, and what I think the president should try to do now, is to understand the part of the problem here is that he looks and sounds like an ally of Putin. And, Secretary Rubio was saying, well, we got to get Putin to the table. Well, you can get someone to the table in a number of different ways. And it's not just through honey.
And it's not just through honey, right? So this is coming from a career Republican. I know a lot of people like to call Christie and Bill Barr and so many others, like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. They like calling these people rhinos just because, they don't agree with Trump. I guess you can't disagree with Trump and the current, the modern Republican Party, which is more, the MAGA party. Because if you say something, if you say that Trump is just, bullshitting the country and he's lying or he's just saying something that's not right, automatically you'll be labeled a rhino. Oh, you're a traitor. You're working with Democrats. This is coming from a career Republican, and the way Trump talks and the way that he acts are just not matching, right? They don't align. For example, in the Oval Office meeting, Trump claimed to be neutral. Did you guys hear that when he had the exchange with Zelensky and J.D. Vance? He said he was not aligned with Russia, but he was aligned with the rest of the world. So the question is, what world is he aligned with? Is he calling Russia and North Korea and Venezuela the world? I'm aligned with the world, Russia, North Korea, and Venezuela, with dictators, with Viktor Orban and Fatah el-Sisi, because as far as we know, the vast majority of countries have expressed massive support for Ukraine, openly. Listen to all these leaders actually committing to supporting Ukraine as presented by Brian Tyler Cohen on his YouTube show. Listen to this.
World leaders took to Twitter, including the president of the European Council. Dear Zelensky, dear Ukrainian friends, you are not alone. The foreign minister of Germany, Ukraine is not alone. Germany, together with our European allies, stands united alongside Ukraine and against the Russian aggression. Ukraine can build on unwavering support from Germany, Europe, and beyond. Their defense of democracy and their quest for peace and security is ours. The Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, we stand with Ukraine and on the side of the free world. The President of Slovakia, we stand with Ukraine more than ever. Time for Europe to stay united. The President of Slovenia, Slovenia upholds the principles and respect of international law and international relations. What we witnessed in the Oval Office today undermines these values and the foundations of diplomacy. We stand firmly in support of Ukraine's sovereignty. We repeat, Russia is the aggressor. The Foreign Minister of Austria, stand with Ukraine. The Prime Minister of Spain, Ukraine, Spain stands with you. The Prime Minister of Sweden, Sweden stands with Ukraine. You are not only fighting for your freedom, but also for all of Europe. Slava Ukraini. The ambassador of the Netherlands to Ukraine. I just spoke to my Ukrainian friend and colleague. I reiterated my full support to Ukraine, whatever it takes, for as long as it takes. The president of Lithuania. Ukraine, you'll never walk alone. The Prime Minister of Latvia. Latvia stands with Ukraine. The President of Latvia. Ukraine is a victim of the Russian aggression. It fights the war with the help from many friends and partners and has become a symbol for not just freedom and sovereignty, but for making the art of the impossible in difficult circumstances. The Foreign Minister of Finland. Finland stands with the people and the people's choices. No Ukraine, no peace. People have chosen freedom. We stand with Ukraine. The Prime Minister of Portugal. Ukraine can always count on Portugal, Zelensky. The Prime Minister of Croatia. Croatia knows from its own experience that only a just peace can be a lasting peace. The Croatian government has supported the belief that Ukraine needs such a peace, one that means sovereignty, territorial integrity, and a future in free Europe. The Foreign Minister of Estonia. I just had a call with my friend and colleague where I reassured Estonia's support to Ukraine, whatever it takes. The Prime Minister of Canada. Russia's illegally and unjustifiably invaded Ukraine. For 3 years now, Ukrainians have fought with courage and resilience. Their fight for democracy, freedom, and sovereignty is a fight that will matter to us all. Canada will continue to stand with Ukraine and Ukrainians in achieving a just and lasting peace. The President of Moldova. The truth is simple. Russia invaded Ukraine. Russia is the aggressor. Ukraine defends its freedom and ours. We stand with Ukraine. The Prime Minister of Norway. We stand by Ukraine in their fair struggle for a just and lasting peace. The Prime Minister of Iceland. Iceland stands with Ukraine. You are not alone. We wholeheartedly support Ukraine in their quest for just and lasting peace against the unprovoked and unlawful Russian aggression. The Mayor of Antwerp in Belgium. We stand behind Ukraine and the Ukrainian people in their historic fight to defend themselves against an unprovoked Russian aggression. Their fight is our fight. United we are strong. The Prime Minister of Luxembourg. Luxembourg stands with Ukraine. You are fighting for your freedom and a rules-based international order.
That is such an impressive manifestation of support, guys. All these countries are coming together. If I were Trump, I would feel shame, honestly, but I don't think he's capable of such a thing. I believe he's actually enjoying this because he loves being the center of attention and disrupting, so he can say he is neutral as much as he wants, but you don't pretend to be a neutral party trying to help negotiate when you sit at the table with everybody else but Ukraine, as if Ukraine was not the victim here, as if Ukraine was not deserving to be treated as a sovereign country. Trump even accused Zelensky of wasting 3 years. That was the excuse he gave. He's like, we haven't invited him to the table because he's not a skilled negotiator. He's not a good negotiator. He had 3 years. He has been wasting 3 years doing nothing but, making things worse. And now his country is falling apart. He actually said all these things with Brian Kilmeade. I think it was a Fox interview. And the host was asking him, hey, Trump, but wouldn't you say that this is actually Putin's fault? That all these buildings are destroyed. You see all this destruction, all these negative things that you're talking about. Isn't this actually Putin's fault? And Trump just was avoiding the question. Actually, let's listen to that clip because I have it here. Let me play it for you. Just a second.
Mr. President, newspaper just about is your stance in Ukraine. I was looking up. I almost found no indications that you said anything bad about Zelensky up until the last few days. And it seems as though when he didn't take the mineral deal and was critical of you for having a delegation talk in Saudi Arabia with Russia, that was a turning point for you, correct?
I've been watching for years, and I've been watching him negotiate with no cards. He has no cards. And you get sick of it. You just get sick of it. And I've had it. And he then made a deal with us for rare earth and things. And who knows what rare earth is worth, but at least it's something. But look what you have. You have a man who's led a country that had the most beautiful cities that they demolished, had the most beautiful domes. Those domes are the most beautiful
but it's
in the
all
world.
Russia's. But that's Russia's fault, though, Mr. President. Russia
They're
did
all
the
demolished, 1,000-year-old domes, and everything's demolished. I mean, it's like a demolition site. It's sort of like Gaza. In fact, it's more. At least Gaza has a couple of buildings standing.
Right.
I mean, this place. You take a look at the demolition of so many of those cities, and and all those people are killed, never to come back again.
But Mr. President, that's all.
Killed.
That's Vladimir Putin's fault. Don't you agree?
I get tired of listening to it. I'll tell you what. I've seen it enough. And then he complains that he's not at a meeting that we're having with Saudi Arabia trying to intermediate a peace. Well, he's been at meetings for 3 years with a president who didn't know what the hell he was doing. He's been in the meetings for 3 years, and nothing got done. So I don't think it's very important to be at meetings, to be honest with you. He's been there for 3 years. He makes it very hard to make deals. But look what's happened to his country. It's been demolished.
But no, I hear you.
He's going to go back.
But Mr. President, you know who's to blame for that.
If and when there's peace,
but don't you think it's
Brian,
Vladimir Putin that did the invasion unwarranted to try to take back land he had no right to? And don't you think fundamentally that's that? And if you could just and now both sides want to talk, it seems. So we should just get to that point.
They only want to talk because of me. If I wasn't involved, they wouldn't be talking to each other. And Russia would continue to, go through Ukraine, because they are going through, Brian. They've taken a lot of land. And Russia would continue the march through Ukraine. If it wasn't for me, they wouldn't be talking at all. I'm the only reason they're talking.
No.
So you see, he just didn't want to answer who's the real person to blame for all the destruction and all the debts and everything going on. Because yes, you can blame Zelensky for whatever you want to blame him, but the reality, the facts are on the table. Facts are just right in front of our eyes. We know Putin invaded Ukraine, and that's it. And that all the rest that follow is only Putin's fault in reality. But there's never been an option to make a deal. Trump himself would tell us, he'll say in a lot of interviews that you never negotiate with terrorists. Have you heard Trump saying like, I would never negotiate with terrorists, right? So how do you negotiate with Vladimir Putin when all he wants to do is to decimate you, when he's killing your people, he's invading your country, and he won't back down or give back the territory that he has taken? So what was the option then? Surrendering and allowing, when he's saying that Zelensky should have negotiated 2 years ago, because that's what he is suggesting when he tells Zelensky he's got no cards. That is exactly what he's telling him. You are powerless. You don't have a strong military. You don't have the money. You're nobody, right? You have to roll over for Putin. You have to bend over and take it, because this is the same thing Trump is doing right now with Greenland, with Panama, with Canada, and even Mexico. This is what I want. I don't care if you agree or not. I don't care if it's not a good deal for you or not. I am the deal maker. I have the strongest military in the world, and I do whatever I want to do. I will do whatever I want to do. Just deal with it, right? So this is one of the reasons why people are so disappointed right now and mad. Why his approval ratings are in the negative right now, falling, and they're falling fast. He promised one thing, to be like the anti-war president, to bring grocery prices down, to bring gas prices down, inflation down, and bring it down fast, right? Which he hasn't done. And now he can't stop creating conflicts all over the world, military conflicts, right? Tension, a lot of distraction. Now, will he go forward with Gaza and Panama and Greenland? I really don't know, but there is a high chance he will. And that would be very, very costly, obviously, for the country, not a good thing. And he'll justify it, saying that it will be for our national security. He said that in this when he was addressing Congress last night. He was saying, we need Greenland for national security, right? He's going to find a way to obviously make it sound like we need it, like it's going to be something good. But this is more to please Elon, his sugar daddy, because Elon wants all the natural resources for, battery, electrical car battery production, or for even AI, stuff that they're going to need down the road. So that's why they're really focused right now, zeroing in on Greenland. And that's the same thing they're doing with Ukraine. That's why they wanted the mineral deal, which is stupid because Trump told Zelensky, oh, you have no cards, but then you need to sign this deal. You need to give me all your minerals. You need to give me all these resources that I want from you. But the bottom line is this is not what he promised. He promised to be an anti-war president. He promised to focus on America first, to keep us out of military conflicts and avoid wars. We don't need to be fighting. And things are not looking good at all. I'm actually quite concerned about all the things that, we're seeing, because this is the problem with Donald Trump. Like, you really never know what's going to happen next, right? How far he will go, or whether he will disobey the courts, which he's signaling he may do already. There's a lot of signals, red flags when it comes to that. And would you be surprised if he does, right? Who would be surprised? Like, we're talking about a convicted criminal, a convicted felon, who has been surrounded by criminality and corruption most of his life. This is a person who was found liable for sexual abuse and fraud, who was twice impeached, who cheated on his wife, according to the Stormy Daniels and the E. Jean Carroll's, stories. So this is not taking the country by surprise at all. And that is the scary part here. I have been asking some family members and friends of mine about how can they support Donald Trump? Like, how can you be a Christian and support Trump? Or how can you even just be a decent person, right? And support Trump? He is literally so far from what Jesus used to be and is, from Jesus's teachings, so far from the Bible and all the principles. But I am hopeful that now that Trump is showing us his true colors again, maybe this is what we needed to see it, like a second time, so that most people that are still supporting him finally drop the support for him. I hope that his approval ratings are just going to continue to drop, and that we'll be in a much better position to win back the House and maybe even the Senate in 2026. I know it will be a long road, but guys, we have to keep fighting, right? We kicked him out of the White House before, and I know we can do it again. So stay tuned, stay in the fight. I know we got this, okay?